So, welcome back to the straw bale house at Ängsbacka in the forest. And I'm sitting here with Blake Steele, and he's one of the elders in the elder circle of Ängsbacka, and he's also an author, workshop leader, and he's very much into Pink Tantra, which is his main teaching. So, Blake, please say something about yourself first. Who are you?
Yeah, I'm an American who lives in Sweden now, married to a beautiful woman. And I came here because of Ängsbacka many years ago, 2002. And I fell in love with what's happening here. And I've been very involved since then. And I finally moved full-time to Sweden 10 years ago.
And people have probably heard about Tantra, different kinds of Tantra, and have an idea about that. But you are teaching Pink Tantra.
Yeah.
So what is that, and how can you put that in context with Tantra in general? White Tantra, Black Tantra, Red Tantra?
Yeah. Very simply, White Tantra is about more about upper level and transcendence, and it's very beautiful. Red Tantra is more about working with sexual energy directly and sexual relationships as a means to touch the divine. That sex is sacred. In all Tantra, sex is sacred. And Pink Tantra is the fusion of both, white and red, centered in the heart, in the deep heart. And in the deep heart, there's actually a pink chakra of the purity of divine love. So from that source of the innocence and the purity of divine love, to get in touch with that and let that quality really guide you in all your relationships, and in relationship, of course, to your own body and your own self. So that would be the essence of Pink Tantra. I haven't followed any traditions. I'm a creative person. I have, as you mentioned, I'm a writer. I have 14 books out and 4,000 poems. And so I approach spirituality in a very creative way. I'm interested in getting at the essence of what's going on and expressing it in fresh ways for Western people and for today.
So what elements are there in Pink Tantra? I remember you have these principles of life that you're teaching.
Yeah, principles of energy, actually.
Energy, okay.
How energy works. And to me, a principle is like gravity is a principle. It's something that's happening. It's how energy works, how life works. So to discover these principles within ourselves, within our own, the totality of ourselves, because we're multi-leveled beings. We have this physical body, but of course we're more than the physical body. We have subtle energy. And there's so many spiritual practices that deal with Reiki and Qigong, that deal with working with subtle energy, Pranayama and yoga. So, and then there's something deeper than that. Of course, we have our mind and all the capacities of mind, the tremendous capacities to be creative beings, the higher capacities of mind, the imaginative aspects of mind. Emotions, will, all desires, all these aspects of ourselves. Higher than that, on a higher frequency, is this pure light. And this pure light is infinite existence. It's the mystery of existence. It's the pure consciousness. So we have all these different levels. And the real journey is to get in touch with all these levels, to open up pathways, especially to the light. Because the light is the peace and the love, the kindness, the gentleness, and the creativity and the freedom that we are designed to be and that we long for. So a spiritual practice that can really open us to that light and affirm with a big yes every part of us is what I'm interested in.
Yeah. So maybe for people to have a better understanding of how you work with one of your practices. I mean, you have this slow movement practice because you also use Tai Chi and energy work, right?
Yeah, not Tai Chi, but
Qigong.
The essence of Qigong, which means working with Qi, which is subtle energy. And
so could you guide us in a short practice?
You want to dive right into it?
Yes, let's do it. So just get a feeling of of what is it all about?
Okay, I mean, a lot of people out there who are interested in what's happening here at Ansbach, you're probably familiar one way or another with subtle energy. But if you're not, a good way to wake up to the reality of it is to just put your awareness in your hands, for example. And you can put your hands in front of you and close your eyes. And you realize, first of all, probably you're thinking about your hands in space, which is a part of our brains that are processing all the input from our nerves and telling us where things are. So that's good. We couldn't function without that. But we want to bypass that in a meditative state and just tune into what's happening in our nervous system and to just feel hands as an energy sensation. So if you just really tune in to the feeling, first of all, we just start with the right hand and just what is the sensation that's coming from your right hand? Now, that's not a question to be answered, it's something to be explored with your awareness, to just, as if you've never been in a body before, and you're just exploring the sensations that are coming from what we call the right hand. And if you start to move past the idea of your hand and the sense that your awareness is just stuck in your head, and you can move your awareness down into your hand fully, the hand will start to become alive, more alive feeling. And maybe you just sense it as pure energy. And that's a meditation. With practice, you start to really enter into what I'm talking about here. Once you feel just the pure energy of the hand, then you're in touch with your energy body. Your awareness is actually expanded to be aware of the pure energy that is within the physical body. There's an energy hand as well as a physical hand. The energy hand is on a different frequency. It's on a higher frequency, energetic frequency than the physical. So then you can just switch your awareness, flow your awareness over to your left hand, and see if you can do the same with the left hand, moving past the idea of the hand into just the pure sensation of the hand. And then bring the hands close together and put your awareness in both of the hands. See if there's a difference of sensation, if one feels more alive or is easier to tune into than the other. And say, just for an example, that I can really feel my right hand easier than my left, then my meditation next time would be to focus on my left hand until I balance them and I can be aware of both of them the same. So then once you get more in touch with your body, your energy body, you can bring your hands in front of your stomach and in super slow motion, and this is the key thing, that you move very slowly, because if you move very slowly, you become aware of every muscle moving, again, as a sensation. You start to feel the pure sensations of your energy moving. And you bring your hands up the front of your body, and you can start with curiosity. You just start to explore the sensations. And maybe you'll start to be aware also of your body, the sensations, because when your hands close to the body, you can feel the presence of the hands with this practice. So say you've come up, and the face is very sensitive, and I can feel my hand, the presence of my hands over my face, and I also feel my face very sensitive as energy. I feel tension in it. I feel this higher, subtler energy rising through my face, and then we come up over the top of the head, and And then the practice would be to, without any muscle movement in your head or brain, you just slip your awareness above your head into the space above your head. And then you feel the emptiness above, and then you start to come down, and the awareness through the practice, awareness starts to flow just like water, slow motion water coming down through your face. Now my face feels more alive. And then my neck suddenly becomes more alive. My hands are over my neck. I feel the aliveness of my chest. And I'm just sensing my subtle energy body. And then you would come down. That would be one pass. And you would do that as a practice, and say for even 3 minutes in the morning, you can just work with that. And day by day, you will become more alive to your energy body and be able to work with it. That's what Qigong means, is working with the subtle energy. So that you can open up a channel, actually through repetition, a channel of free-flowing energy in your energy body, your subtle energy body, up and down through you. Now the advantage of that is that you can draw in fresh energy and move out stagnant energy and freshen your energy body or your spirit, your aura. You can freshen it up. That's just one advantage of that. That's a beginning place. But that alone is just fantastic practice. I mean, if people learn that, you like get up, wash your face, brush your teeth, and open your energy body and flush it out with freshness. I mean, what a different world we'd have.
Yeah, I feel very grounded. I felt like, wow. And it's also this thing with bringing in maybe new practices in life, like you said, like maybe hang it up onto something else, like you're brushing your teeth, you're doing it together with something you already have a practice with, and just start to get new things in your life that actually, makes sense, that really, is brings you back.
And this is just a tool, but you can tune it. I mean, if your practice is sitting in silence, for example, you could do 3 minutes of this, first of all, just to lighten yourself within, just expand yourself. And the more you do this, the sign of an open chakra is lightness. So, example, if I really work, if I start to work above my head and my crown chakra, and it just kind of feels numb a little bit, and then maybe I just put my awareness up there and I expand it open with my intention. I'm just doing it in consciousness, in my consciousness. We can get into imagination in a few minutes, maybe. I use maybe a little imagination. And suddenly this feels open here. Now I feel lighter, and I can sit in silence and just enjoy this lightness of being. Yeah. So it works really well with other practices.
Yeah, you talked about intention and imagination. I mean, now we're sitting in the world, and sometimes it can maybe feel a bit stuck, and the vision of where are we going, what is happening. So how can we use the work of imagination, and how do you work with imagination?
You mean in relationship to what's going on around us and what?
No, I mean in Pink Tantra, how can you work with imagination? I mean, it's related to life, so whatever is going on.
Yeah, I'm a creative person, so I see. I've been in different religions. I've practiced different things. I've looked into everything since the 1960s. I've been on this journey, and I realized that I must see God as infinite creativity, as infinite creative potential, as the creator of everything, the mystery of existence. Somehow all these forms, all these galaxies, trillions of galaxies, stars unending, have been brought into form. And so the source of that is what we call, quote, God. And I realized, first of all, we're talking about creator. If we have a concept of the infinite, that there's an infinite ground of everything that's ultimately intelligent, then first of all, creator. creativity. Creativity. So the imagination is how everything here, everything has been created, that man has created, we've done through our imagination. We reflect that everything in the universe has been done through the imagination of some great infinite intelligence that we mirror on a small human level. And look at what we can do with our imagination. So if we apply that to working with our subtle energy body, as I'm talking about here, I want to back up and just say the importance is that working with the subtle energy body is just one aspect of our return to the light. But it's the bridge between the matter and the light, which is within us and by which we see, by which we experience, which is a very high frequency beyond time and space and matter. The bridge is this subtle energy. And that's why it's really important to work with our subtle energy, to expand it and open it in very accessible practices. So we build this bridge between the infinite light, which is always peace and always love and always kindness, and this right here world, we ground it here in our bodies, in this life. The subtle energy is that bridge. So we can use imagination and this developing ability to sense it and to work with it. For example, if I'm opening up my top here, I can imagine white flowers just falling, energetic flowers falling down all over me right now. And I can actually, by imagining this coming down through me, I feel that and imagining that every flower is a flower of acceptance and forgiveness and love and kindness. And these gentle blossoms are coming down through me. Then that goes into my emotional level, and my subtle energy body just blooms open even more. So we work creatively and with increasing sensitivity with our own spirit, so that we can walk around with an inner sunshine and an inner percolating aliveness and a creative way of dealing with our lives and the quote so-called problems of life, because every problem is just something that's waiting for a creative solution.
I could kind of feel the energy when you were moving. It's like I felt there was a slightly more happiness happening in me. So how has your own work, how has it affected your life?
Transformed it. Yeah. It's transformed my life. I'll back up here and just say, I went through many spiritualities, as I said, and for many years, and gained so much from them all. But there was, to me, something always missing. And the missing thing was the sexual life force energy. And there hasn't been good results in trying to push that aside, repressing it. If you have a religion, for example, that represses that, the masses, that repressed sexual energy comes out in frustration and then often even in violence. Or in the other hand, it comes out in sexual abuse, because it's such a strong force. We can't press it down any more than we can hold spring back by trying to tie a rope around a tree. I mean, it's going to swell. It's going to break the bonds because of force of life, and that's what the sexual energy really is. It's the force of life. It creates new life, but we can tap into it in the higher teachings, and what I'm sharing and practicing is tapping into the essence of the life force that's in our base. It's in our base area, and there's many aspects of that. I won't go into right now, but by making it more alive for a new purpose, to bring these life-giving sensations up through our opening subtle energy body. And then the instinct of that is to openness, and my instinct is to bloom open in my longing for the light, in my longing for more love in myself, in the longing for more love in the world, in creative prayers for the world. So what I feel like is that I have become more of a tree of life, a fountain of life. There's a fountain of life within me. I through practice, I take care of it. I try to keep it open, because if I don't, it tends to close. So it's a living thing. It needs to be nourished all the time. But I'm teaching basically three main principles, and you find them in the three treasures of Nidan, which is the mystical aspect of Chinese medicine and Taoism, and you find them in all the major spiritualities. You find them in yoga. They just use different terms for them: shukra and prana and these things. Spirit in the West. If we access these important parts of ourselves, we can develop an openness of this inner fountain of a rising life, and this flowing down from the higher frequencies of light and the infinite flowing down through us, and we can have a circulation of rising energies and flowing down energies through us. Rising energies, rising energies of action and goals and inspiration to do things and inspiration to write and create art and to create a better world and work better ways with children, and all the inspiration that is actually coming to us in the light now into the world, new patterns, new ways. And then the resting, the coming down and the resting deeper into ourself and into self-acceptance and into allowance and into stop repressing and judging ourselves, being washed and allowing these old traumatic things to open up and to be expressed and to be released. So there's the rising of new life and the washing away of the stuck energies. We need that circulation through us. So I come back again to our subtle energy body, because that's the key that allows the energies to rise and fall through us.
Yes, you mentioned Nadan as one of the three treasures. So what are the other two?
Well, in the tradition of Nadan, there's Jing, which is the sexual or the basic life force energies on a more physical level. And then there's Qi, which is the subtle energy, which I've been talking about, opening the energy body, the Qi body. So the Jing mingles with the Qi. They don't even call it sex, because that has all kinds of other connotations. It's Jing, it's the life force energies, the ecstatic energies, the healing energies, the forever young and fresh energies. They mingle with the Qi. And more they start to flood every cell in your body, and this body starts to adapt to this wonderful, pure, ecstatic, bubbling energy. And then the third would be Shen, or the heavenly, the connection with the light, with the oneness of all things, with the healing harmony that can heal relationships, heal nations, the creativity, the functions of higher functions of mind, to bring beauty into the world, the beauty making. So that's Shen. So that all the treasures of Shen mingled with the treasures of the subtle energy, mingled with the treasures of the life force energies in the body. Everything activated. This is true wholeness. And it's what we really need for the future.
So if you bring it to a more practical level, like in your life on an ordinary Tuesday, how do you bring that into your life? Do you have any specific practices, like a morning practice, or how do you, you're a problem
on
arising?
On Tuesdays, I always take the day off. I
mean, if something happened in the day, do you have any,
I start my practice the minute I wake up in the morning, before I even get out of bed, And I just start the opening and the surrendering open. But I've done this for so long that the sensitivity is there right away. And often we wake up with some strange dream or something, or our energy's kind of stuck because of the way we're sleeping. And so maybe a little stretching, and then just opening the heart, opening the flow up, flow down, and I just feel immediately, I feel lighter. I feel fresher. And then often it leads to prayers, prayers for my wife, for my relationship, prayers for my children, whatever comes up through my heart. It's more of a wishing of good and an imagining them full of light. I've learned it's much more effective not to beg. We're not beggars, but we're co-creators to see people full of light and to hold them in light within my heart, to make them be beautiful in my consciousness, which goes to forgiveness, because if I've had trouble with them, then I can transform them in my consciousness and remember the light in them and see the light melting away whatever came through them that hurt me. So forgiving, cleansing. It's very it's spontaneous. It's never the same 2 mornings in a row. It's never boring, because it's dealing with all aspects of ourselves.
Yeah. Anything else that you have brought into your life that makes it more flowing? I mean, if you enter into something that could seem problematic, do you have another approach now than you had many years ago?
You mean in relationships?
Yeah, could be a relationship. You bring that up.
That's the big one.
That's the big one. Probably for many people, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. In my own relationship, luckily I'm married to a woman with a humble heart, also a very strong woman. She can be very stubborn, as can I. The keys that I have learned, or we have learned together, is to have sharing times where we listen deeply to each other. Am I a little off track of your question?
No, please.
If I can go to her with an open heart, which literally has to do with opening my heart energy, and I feel just doing this right now, if I have the time and space to just open my heart with the intention I really want to meet her, and through my heart, and I feel my heart open, then I can sit with her and maybe just imagine a beam of light connecting our hearts, and imagine her heart shining with light. And then I want to hear her. If we've had a disagreement, we really are painfully misunderstanding each other. We give each other space to share, when one only listening, no dialogue, just being heard and that confidence that you are being heard without judgment softens things. It has worked every time. Maybe we still are working through traumas and things, and it has to go step by step, but that has been a powerful relational key. And again, it goes back to us both being open to the light within, which is our healing.
When I hear you speak, you use words like intention, imagination, and creativity, creation. I mean, it sounds like, when you come from a space, then it makes it possible. It's like, you're directing energy. Can you talk a bit more about that?
This
energy.
Well, yeah, life is energy. All matter is energy. This is a physicist said this matter is like frozen energy, frozen water. If this melts, it becomes just pure energy, right? But that's on a higher frequency. So once the world wakes up to the fact that we are energetic beings in an energetic world, we know this from science, but we haven't gotten it into our relationships, into our consciousness. Then we will say the most important thing then is to work with energy, right? We are made of energy, and we're designed to work with energy. And then just these very simple ways. The beauty of what I've learned about these principles of working with the life force energies and with the subtle energies and with the higher energies of light is the actual practices are so simple, so accessible, and they don't need to be clothed in any culture. They don't need to be clothed in any tradition, any religion. They gave birth to all religion. That's why in Taoism they say the way that can be said is not the way. Because we start, on the thought level, we mistake the actual blooming of energy for ideas about it. And then we make groups and then get exclusive about it. It's time to go beyond all that and just to realize the simplicity of how to unlock the blooming of the energies within us. And that's what I'm practicing and teaching. And that affects, again, if the Jing is becoming strong Qi, and that's the purpose of blending the Jing with the Qi becomes very strong, and the instinct is to open us, and it is nourishing our mind more creatively, and we have more of a deep perception of how life really is. That affects every aspect of our life, our relationships, things we want to create together, how we want to live together. It all goes back to that.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier that you worked also with pranayama breathing exercises. Can you say something about that?
Yeah, because it's the same principle.
Yeah.
It's the exact same. There's a form of yoga called yoga nidra, where that I use. I don't call it yoga nidra, but it's just a principle of moving breath with awareness through your body imaginatively. For example, you can't really breathe in through your chest. You're breathing in through your nose and mouth, right? But you can imagine that you're breathing in through your chest. And when you do that, your awareness moves in to the heart. And that's functioning on the subtle energy level. So breath helps the movement of awareness. So I imagine myself breathing in through the heart, and my awareness follows the breath deep into the heart, and then I touch the inner stillness that is on the higher energy levels, and maybe even feel the lightness of the light. So I'm using breath to move awareness, and that's what would be the same as pranayama. And then, for example, I can breathe in my heart and breathe out the top of my head. Now I'm opening this subtle energy channel. I'm actually creating it in my energy body by moving breath and awareness up and out the top. And breathing out the top, up high. And then breathing in the top. And down, maybe out through my hands, out through my legs, washing my entire body. And then I feel so good. I feel light. I feel alive.
A really energetic shower.
Yeah, a fresh energy. Yeah. And especially the Jing energy, the sexual life force energy, we put that in such a box, and we have so many traumas around that, and sex is having sex or having an orgasm or something. But the actual energies themselves are forever fresh and young, and they're able to create life. And so there's a refinement in this spiritual practice of subtle stimulation of the sexual area. There's different ways people can do that. Anything works, any way that is good for the person. And by meditating on that sensation as if you've never had it before, entering into it and drawing it up into your subtle energy practice, all this freshness is coming up. The instinct to open is there, and you start to long for the light. It reawakens that longing for the light. So this is, to me, more advanced than pranayama. It integrates all the energies, but it's definitely the same as pranayama. Same principle.
I think if we all could tap into that more often and really transform the world, to let all this beauty come through that we have and that there is in the world.
Every human being has so much potential in them, and for some people they buried it under unresolved grief issues and all all the unprocessed emotions that they're holding within themselves, and you can just feel the heaviness they're carrying. Where are they carrying it? In their energy body. And if they were just given tools on how to open up and to progressively cleanse out that, then, you know, one by one, people start opening up. One by one, people start healing. And every person who heals a little bit, they're influencing everyone around them. I mean, I've seen a lot of things come and go in the world since the 1950s. And I am convinced that only this blooming open of our beings will heal the world. There's nothing that can be induced from without, no political movement, no political correctness, no super liberal movement, because it'll always be counteracted by a super conservative movement, and there's always this duality, this conflict. It'll go on forever. And the only thing that will lift us above that is this inner blooming of life, that we discover that we are designed by the energies of life, by the consciousness of life, to bloom open. And that means to bloom open and heal, to heal of our tensions, our inner frustrations, our inner stress, and to come into a new biology of oxytocin chemistry, of love, of feeling connected again, and to soften inside, and to find a new kind of strength, not the strength of protecting ourselves and defense mechanisms, but the strength of life itself, which is unconquerable. I mean, here it is Easter time, the story of Christ, that Christ is the great image of the innocent purity of the pure love of God, and nothing could defeat him. All the world's worst was thrown on him, and he rose again, right? That's the story, whether you believe it literally or not. This Christ within us all, this light of life, this higher frequency light that is within all beings, all things, that is an infinite ocean of light, it cannot be harmed. It will conquer everything. And if we just learn to dig down through the stuff we've covered it with, these simple practices of just how to just open. I brush my teeth, I open my heart. You know, I take a shower and I take a spiritual shower, and I just let the fresh energy flow down. Then the world will change, one person at a time.
Yeah, the work starts with one, and then one more. You
Right.
know, and people say, "Oh, you're looking at your navel." That's what we say in Sweden sometimes. You know, you have to go out there and do something. Yeah, but if you start here, and then things will naturally happen. I think that's the beauty. It's when they say you're pointing a finger, then you're pointing. Yeah, you should do something. Yeah, but then you're actually pointing more fingers back to yourself. It's like where to start, right? It's a beautiful practice.
The world is, I mean, this is a cliche, but the world is like a bunch of caterpillars that are trying to get it together, and they feel dissatisfied, but they're trying to build new societies and new political system, new religion. And once in a while, one of them turns into a butterfly. Yeah. And we're designed for this transformative blooming open. And what are we blooming into? We're blooming into fully divine, fully human beings that are both very human, just as we are. We're not trying to not be human, but we're trying to be fully human. What's the full potential of being human? And we're only human for a little while, and then we die. And then we bloom out of this into the higher frequency worlds. So, yeah, let's get in touch with reality. The real reality, the energetic one, the one that can the energy that can transform us from within ourselves.
Beautiful, Blake. Thanks a lot for sharing your wisdom on life and some of your work with Pink Tantra. And thanks everyone that joined us here today at the Straw Bale House at Ängsbacka.
Yeah.